Every few years, a piece of technology arrives that doesn't just impress people, it unsettles them. Google's new Nano Banana Pro, powered by the Gemini 3 Pro image model, is exactly that kind of technology. It didn't arrive with a flashy keynote or a worldwide countdown. It simply appeared, completely unannounced, and within minutes the internet collectively asked, "Hold on, is this AGI hiding inside an image generator?" That may sound dramatic, but this model isn't just spitting out nicer pictures. It's showing signs of reasoning, real-time data awareness, geographical grounding, storytelling continuity, and a frightening level of spatial intelligence. For many, this is the biggest jump in AI image generation since the entire field was born. A classic painting reborn. The first demonstration that made everyone pause was Google's surreal reinterpretation of William Hogarth's 18th century series, A Rake's Progress. The original was a moral story about a young aristocrat who rises, falls, and loses everything. Nano Banana Pro redid the entire narrative but dropped it straight into the chaos of the year 2025. Suddenly, the protagonist rises through a Dogecoin fortune, crushes cans of Monster Energy, hustles deliveries on a bike, falls into the NFT rabbit hole, burns out on OnlyFans, and ends up in a futuristic dopamine detox ward. The amount of detail in each scene looks like something an artist would torture themselves over for weeks. Yet the model generates the entire series in seconds, while maintaining the same visual identity across every frame. Compared to the older Nano Banana or even Gemini 2.5 Flash, this isn't a small upgrade, but a generational leap. Even Cadream 4.0, which once dominated benchmarks, suddenly feels like a relic from a different century. Live Google search data. The reason this upgrade feels so shocking is that Nano Banana Pro doesn't rely on guesswork. It actually pulls real-time data from Google Search. When it was asked to project the current stock score onto London's Shard, it didn't hallucinate anything. It grabbed the actual number at that exact moment and built it correctly into the image. That alone puts it miles ahead of anything else available. The same thing happens when you ask for a bizarrely specific request, like a topographic map of London made out of embroidered felt. Nano Banana Pro produces something that actually resembles the geography of London instead of random stitched shapes pretending to be a map. Yes, some distant buildings may misalign slightly, but the realism is so far beyond anything we've seen that the imperfections feel trivial. Composition that actually understands characters. The model doesn't just mix characters, it stages them. When someone fed it Goku, SpongeBob, and Squirtle and requested an IMAX-style double exposure action poster, the results didn't look chaotic or forced. Goku attacks, SpongeBob counters, Squirtle summons a water spin, and the entire composition looks like an official movie poster. Try the same prompt on older models, and the results look like random sticker packs thrown into a blender. Nano Banana Pro not only blends styles correctly, but lets characters interact in ways that make sense. It feels less like image generation and more like directing a scene. Yes, it costs more, but it's still cheaper than OpenAI's high-res model. Google admits that the Gemini 3 Pro image tier is more expensive to run. At maximum resolution, it's roughly 7 to 8 times pricier than the original Nano Banana. Medium resolutions sit at about 3 to 4 times more. But even with that jump, it still lands below the cost of OpenAI's premium high-resolution model. Considering the quality difference, the pricing has barely slowed adoption. Invisible watermarking for the AI future. Google also built SynthID deeply into the system. Every Nano Banana Pro output contains an invisible watermark, allowing anyone to upload an image into the Gemini app and confirm whether the model created it. Free users get a visible watermark, while pro-level tools tuck the mark away. Soon this same identification will appear across text, audio, and even video. For a future filled with AI content, verification may become more essential than generation, maps, data, and historical knowledge. One of the most surprising aspects of Nano Banana Pro is its ability to reason about information instead of randomly imitating patterns. When asked for a map showing the spread of the Black Death, it produced historically accurate paths, correct dates, and clever artistic cues to show progression. A single misplaced word, like suggesting Paris was spared, reveals the limitations, but the broader reasoning is shockingly strong. In many cases, it feels like the model is thinking through the problem rather than blindly painting textures. A new level of spatial awareness. Most older models struggled miserably with spatial placement. Objects floated in midair, shadows disobeyed physics, and perspectives collapsed like cardboard. Nano Banana Pro, however, behaves as if it understands three-dimensional space. Upload a hedgehog in a doorway, then ask it to place the hedgehog realistically at the man's feet. It nails the lighting, angle, eye direction, and scale almost perfectly. Earlier models would produce a creature that looked like a pancake with spikes. This leap in spatial grounding is one of the clearest signs that something new is happening under the hood. Comic strips with consistent characters, a first in AI. Perhaps the most jaw-dropping demo came from a simple comic request. A user uploaded a mouse character they designed 2 years ago in Mid-Journey, complete with a satchel and distinctive style. They then asked Nano Banana Pro to create a 4-panel comic featuring the same mouse, a grumpy turtle, consistent personalities, speech bubbles, and a punchline. Every panel matched perfectly. The mouse kept the satchel, the turtle stayed annoyed, and their personalities remained stable. When the user continued the story in a completely different setting, a medieval galleon, the characters still behaved the same. A hat might vanish in one frame, or an arrow shift slightly, but the narrative coherence remained intact. This is the kind of continuity people once believed was years away. Face cloning for massive group photos. Another shocker is the model's ability to merge up to 14 different reference photos into a single scene, while preserving each person's identity from multiple angles. This used to be something only movie studios and high-end VFX houses could accomplish. Now, it's a prompt away. The consistency across lighting, perspective, and facial detail looks disturbingly good. Professional photography tools for non-photographers. Nano Banana Pro doesn't stop at generation. It offers deep control over photography settings such as camera angles, depth of field, color grading, shadow direction, and lighting temperature. You can change outfits, swap objects, recreate the same scene at night, adjust reflections, and maintain perfect consistency throughout the entire process. It supports ultra-wide cinematic formats, 2K and 4K resolutions, and refined aspect ratios. With the new localized editing tools, you can draw directly onto the image, circle a head to add a cowboy hat, mark the table to add a guitar, and the model even updates reflections you never asked it to fix. It behaves like Photoshop with a mind of its own. Real-world data manipulation like nothing before. One of the most unsettling demonstrations was how accurately it handles graphs and numbers. Upload a screenshot from Google Analytics, then tell it to change your clicks to 90,000 and impressions to 1.2 million. Nano Banana Pro updates the graph, reshapes the axis, redraws the curve, and keeps the interface intact. Previous models would melt the UI into a surreal mess. It even turns benchmark tables into clean charts with correct labels, categories, and color associations. That isn't pattern matching anymore. That's numerical understanding. Medical scans, anime outfits, rare animals. Nano Banana Pro successfully marked nearly all lesions on a medical scan, something older models routinely failed. It recognizes character outfits from anime like Re:Zero, Demon Slayer, and South Park with incredible reliability. It identifies rare animals, though it sometimes misses minor details. The only consistent failure is telling time on clocks, an issue all transformer-based systems still struggle with. Nevertheless, the accuracy jump overall is dramatic. Transforming coordinates into real buildings, paste GPS coordinates from Hong Kong, and Nano Banana Pro generates the correct building, skyline, and neighborhood atmosphere. Other models offer generic cities. This one gives you the actual place. The same precision appears when converting interiors to blueprints or disassembling a Gundam into accurate component pieces. It appears to understand structure, not just texture. And that wraps up today's deep dive into Google's mind-bending new image model. If you enjoyed the breakdown, learned something new, or just love seeing the future happen in real time, make sure you hit that like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.